Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us for today's Final Expense Monthly Monday. My name is Matt Alina. I'm the Final Expense Manager here at URL Insurance Group. And for those of you who are new to URL, or maybe you're just looking into, or this is the first time you're joining our Final Expense Monthly Monday, a special welcome to you. The Final Expense Monthly Monday, for those of you who aren't familiar with this webinar is designed to basically give final expense agents a little bit of a guide as to what's going on in the industry and things, some of the different trends that are going on. And we try to keep it within 30 minutes. Sometimes it goes over, sometimes it is shorter than that. But basically what we do is we talk about things that are going on with different carriers, things that we're noticing in terms of leads, ways to grow your sales. So it's all about final expense. That's what the Final Expense Monthly Monday is all about. So our agenda for today, for those of you who are brand new to URL or you're considering getting involved in the final expense marketplace, we're going to get into an introduction about final expense sales here at URL and what we do for final expense agents. We will also discuss our lead program and our lead subsidy and how to get started in that. We'll be giving you some sales tips for the month of June. We'll also be discussing agent bonuses and other incentives like trips and things like that. And then we'll also open it up to any questions that you may have pertaining to final expense, whether it's about a particular carrier or maybe you've run into maybe you've been stumped in something, or maybe you've even had some great success. We want to hear about that. So if you do have any questions, there are a couple of ways that you can ask questions. You can raise your hand, and if you've put in your access code, the code to be able to speak, and you have a computer microphone, I can unmute you, and then you can ask your question aloud. But what most people tend to do is they type their questions, and then I'll read them aloud and answer them at that time. So let's get into our Final Expense Monthly Monday. Here at URL Insurance Group, we say we have the playbook for success. Basically, we can be your final expense coaches. When you partner with URL, you have access to numerous resources and numerous guides, whether it's sales materials, scripts on how to book appointments, scripts on what to say when you're on the appointment. We'll also provide you with an online quoting tool. We have a proven turnkey marketing program for especially for Medicare producers. We put on different webinars. There's going to be a webinar that I'll be talking about coming up next week. We'll be talking about that toward the end of our session today. We also do seminars and one-on-one training. We have consumer materials, brochures, memorial books, letters, and a lot more there. We have various and numerous lead resources, whether it's mailers, telemarketed leads, social media leads. We have numerous lead resources available for you. And we also subsidize your lead expenses based on your production. Here's a list of our final expense carriers, and I do get asked from time to time, who are your top sellers? And I'll go ahead and tell you it's not a secret. For guaranteed issue, and that basically there is no underwriting, and this is if a level plan, a carrier, a traditional final expense carrier can't take the client due to pre-existing medical conditions, things of that nature. AIG and Gerber are our two top selling guaranteed issue carriers. And then when it comes to traditional life carriers, a lot depends on the state that you're in, and a lot depends on the client's pre-existing medical conditions. But the top carriers for that can range from companies like Oxford, Western Catholic Union because of their rates, Royal Neighbors because of their underwriting, Foresters is another one for good rates, Transamerica, and Mutual of Omaha. Those are very Those are household names. People are familiar with that. If you're looking for a company that takes younger individuals with liberal underwriting, Liberty Bankers Life is another carrier. But we do have a long list of carriers, and we're always looking at adding new carriers. It just has to make sense. It has to make sense for the client. It has to make sense for you, to give you an incentive to want to write them. And that's with compensation, trips, and all that good stuff. So we're always looking at different final expense carriers. There's a lot of them out there, but that kind of gives you a listing of, kind of gives you a guide as to who we've been using because of rates, underwriting, and so on. How do you know who's going to be the best for your client? If you have a healthy individual, it's usually very simple. You can go to our final expense quote engine on our website. And that's at URL insgroup.com, and then you click on Life Markets, and then you would click on Final Expense under the Quoting Tools section. That's going to take you to our Final Expense Quote Engine page, where you're going to put in the state that the sale is taking place. In this instance, it's Pennsylvania. The client's date of birth, their gender, tobacco use, yes or no, and the amount of coverage. Now, with final expense sales, you're not necessarily selling death benefit as you might be actually selling budget. So you can say, okay, well, let's look at $10,000 or let's look at $15,000 of coverage, and here's the price for that. But a lot of times what you'll do is you're going to ask the client, what can you reasonably afford each month? Is it $30 a month? Is it $50 a month? Is it the $100? You just throw out some numbers out there and then give the client some options that way and try to find them the highest death benefit based on their budget. And it all starts by using our final expense quote engine. So it does the shopping for you. So you put in the client's information, and then on the right-hand side, that's the next screen where it does the shopping for you and it gives you the rates. Now, as I'd mentioned, it does the shopping for you. You're not going to be licensed with all these carriers, and we don't recommend that you get licensed with all these carriers. So really, this is more for your eyes only. This is not going to be a place where the client is going to get quotes. This is for you to be able to get rates quicker. So if you're licensed with Oxford, write Oxford. Maybe you're not licensed with these couple of carriers. Maybe it's Mutual of Omaha or Liberty Bankers. And you'll see that the rates aren't too far off. And one of the nice things about the final expense marketplace, if you're familiar with the traditional life marketplace, you're looking at term insurance, people can shop you. With final expense, they really can't shop you. There isn't an online resource for seniors to go to get different life quotes. And plus, the underwriting with each of these carriers can vary from one carrier to another. So what they might be able to qualify with one company, they may not be able to qualify for another. And I'm here to help you with that and to provide you guidance and kind of hold your hand in showing you the right direction. So that's our final expense quote engine. I do want to move into our lead program. When it comes to final expense sales, you do have to spend money to make money. So we have different lead options. So you have to spend money in order to get leads. And there are a couple of lead choices. I've listed 4 here. Now I'll tell you, out of the 4, the first 2 are the ones that are the most utilized. Direct mail leads, where you order a 1,000-piece mailer, can range anywhere from $450 to $500 for that 1,000-piece mailer. You can get a return rate of upwards of 1.5% to 2% response, so 15 to 20 leads out of that 1,000-piece mailer. These leads are exclusive. You are provided a defined sales territory. So I know we work with a lot of different final expense agents. So if you're looking to get into a particular county and another agent is already there, we're going to have to put you on a waiting list to get into that county. They're exclusive. They're defined sales territory. There's also verified teleleads. Actually, let me back up. There is also a guaranteed response direct mail lead, where if you order 20 leads, the company will do as many mailings as they need to get in order to get you the 30 or to get you the 20 leads. That ranges anywhere from $32 to $35 a piece for a 20 lead minimum order. Now, what will sometimes happen, and this is where some agents get turned off, is that they'll do enough for the mailings for 20, but you might get 22, 25, 30. You're on the hook for those as well. So sometimes agents just want to be able to have a set budget. That's where the 1,000-piece mailer for around $450, $500 it's a set rate. You could get 15 leads. You can get 20 leads, 25 leads. You've already paid for it. Whatever you get back, you get back. When it comes to teleleads, there are a couple of different telelead resources. We have verified teleleads. Those are $25 a piece, 10 lead minimum order. Again, these are exclusive leads. This is our more popular verified telelead program. You do get what you pay for when it comes to leads. This is a US-based company. They make their phone calls. They originate from the United States, so it's not going over to Asia to call back to the United States where there's a language barrier and they're just trying to fulfill an order. They do an outstanding job. Again, a lead is a lead is a lead, but you'll find that the verified teleleads are a pretty good lead resource. I don't have anybody doing Facebook leads. It's kind of cost prohibitive for some agents. They are $30 a piece, 20 lead minimum order. You're notified in real time when a client is interested in speaking to you. The leads are exclusive as well. The one thing about Facebook leads is that you may get 20 leads, but you might only get one person that actually buys. Now, the people who are buying through Facebook are spending higher premium dollars than somebody that would be buying from direct mail leads or verified teleleads. So something to consider there. So while the average may be $700 is the average annual premium, somebody from Facebook through a Facebook lead may spend $800, $900, $1,000 for that policy. And we also have basic teleleads. Again, these are defined. You have a defined sales territory. They're exclusive. All of these leads are your leads. They're not being sold to you and a bunch of other agents. Basic teleleads, again, these are coming from areas like Asia. They're about $10 to $15 a lead. The more leads you order, the cheaper the cost gets per lead. But with all these different costs that we're talking about here, the one thing to consider is that URL does subsidize your lead costs based on your production. So for our Gemini partners that are on our call today, for every $1,000 of annualized final expense premium that you place each month, we give you $80 for every $1,000. For our standard partners, we haven't forgotten about you. We give you $50 for every $1,000 of paid annualized final expense premium. So let's say you did $5,000 during the month of June. Our Gemini agents are going to get a $400 lead credit from URL. Our standard agents are going to get a $250 lead credit. So basically, it's an added, for Gemini partners, you're going to get an added 8% bonus. Our standard partners are getting an extra 5% bonus based on your production. Now, one of the things to point out is if you have a lead vendor, a lead resource that you are using that we're not talking about here today, that's okay. We'll still subsidize those lead costs. We'll figure something out. We'll call the lead vendor for you, and we'll put money on your account. So just some things to think about. While you need to spend money to make money, and while leads are the lifeblood of the final expense marketplace, we do subsidize your lead costs based on your production. Now, we're talking about leads. It does lead into our sales tip for the month, and it really is time to purchase leads. And why do I say that it's time to purchase leads? Many of your competitors, other agents in your area, during this time of the year, they either cut back on the number of leads they're ordering, or they just pause their lead orders during the summer. It's for summer vacations, or maybe they want to play a little more golf or fish or whatever the case may be. Some people take this time to relax. If that's the case for these agents, it is an opportunity for you. They're leaving the door wide open. It's final expense life insurance clients aren't going out of town. They're still there. They still need help. And this is an opportunity for you to get involved in the LEAD program. And because a lot of your competition, they're taking time off. They may not even be taking vacations. They may even just be reducing their work day, or they're running fewer appointments for one reason or another. Another thing, so what you do today, what you're doing in June, July, and August is what is going to help grow your momentum to ride it into the fall and into the start of the new year. It is very cyclical, I know, and we're already talking about going into fall. We're not even into summer yet, but the things that you're doing now are things that are going to carry you into the fall, and you're going to build that momentum. As I mentioned, agents that take time off, we try, when an agent partners with URL, we try to give you an exclusive sales territory, a defined sales territory, depending on the population, the number of people that are in that area. So some areas are heavily populated, a lot of seniors, great opportunities there. We'll let a couple of agents work those areas. But if it's in a smaller area, then we kind of limit it. So when agents are not ordering leads, that leaves the door wide open. So there's a lot of stuff, there's a lot of doors wide open. There's a lot of territories that are open. If you want to buy leads, now's the time to do it. So time to get to work while your competition is away. So if you have any questions about final expense leads, what leads to where you should purchase leads, different sales territories that are available, feel free to give me a call. My contact information is coming up here at the end of the presentation. So now is the time to purchase those final expense leads. At least have that dialogue and get those. Start thinking about making an investment in your business. For agents that are going to be new to URL, for those of you on the call today, and you're going to try URL out, we're going to give you an additional $25 per placed final expense application during your first 60 days. The minimum annualized premium is $500. You can still qualify for our lead subsidy. You have to be new to URL, or you haven't submitted any business with URL in the past 24 months. And it's for the first, it's for all the business that you've placed within your first 60 days with URL. This is for final expense business only. Now, with that being said, we know we have a lot of partners that have been working with us for quite a while. It's baseball season, so let's talk Grand Slam bonus for all of you. So for 4 placed final expense applications, we're going to give you $100. 8 placed final expense cases, $200. 10 placed, $250. 20 placed, $500. Again, the minimum annualized premium is $500. That's going to run to the end of June, and it is based on street level contracts. And again, we'll let you qualify for the lead subsidy, so you're going to be able to double dip. You can actually triple dip, and here's why. When you work hard, you play hard here with URL, and a lot of our final expense carriers specifically have some great incentive trips, and here's a list of some of those trips that are coming up. So based on the production that you do this year and what you place this year with these carriers is going to get you and a guest to one of these great locations all over the world. Whether it's Foresters, do $90,000. You're going to be on a Greek island cruise in 2020. Liberty Bankers, it's going to be a Norwegian cruise, not Norwegian cruise line, but a cruise through the Norwegian fjords. $75,000 minimum premium, and that will be for you and a guest. Another one that I want to point out, a lot of you are like, oh, I'm not going to be able to hit that $90,000 mark. It's already June. But a couple of things to point out here. One of them is Western Catholic Union, $40,000. If you're doing final expense sales and you go hard between now and the end of the year, $40,000 is going to be a piece of cake. You can do it. Punta Cana, Dominican Republic in 2020, Western Catholic Union. And then, of course, URL has our President's Club trip for 2020. That's going to be at the Hotel Bennett in Charleston, South Carolina. So the business you do in final expense or Medicare or traditional life or annuities, whatever business you do with URL, we like to reward you for your business. And that's going to be the President's Club trip for 2020 at the Hotel Bennett. You need to do about 60,000 in production in order to qualify. We'll be taking our top qualifiers. I think it's either the top 20 or top 30 that we'll be taking to Charleston, South Carolina on an all expense paid trip. So hopefully I'll see some of you on that trip in 2020. And I'd love to work with you to help you get to some of these trips with some of these carriers. I think you'll really enjoy it. I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation today that we have upcoming training. So I know there's a lot of you that are in, whether it's life insurance sales or Medicare sales or, whatever the case may be. We're going to be doing a webinar called The Basics of Selling Final Expense. And it's going to be a week from this coming Wednesday. It's next week, Wednesday, June 12th, and it's from 11 a.m. until noon-ish, probably shorter than that. But it's going to go over the application process, the sales process, how to order leads, all of that stuff. You can register online through our website, or you can give me a call. I can send you the link to get to register for this. But again, it's a webinar. It's the basics of selling final expense, and that is going to be Wednesday, June 12th at 11 a.m. So that's what I have to present for you today. It's now time for an open forum. I know there's some questions that have been coming in throughout the presentation, but I want to hear from you. I want to know what some of the challenges are that you're experiencing. What are some of the successes? If you're ordering leads, how are the leads working out for you? Maybe there's a lead vendor out there that I don't know about that's working very well for you. We've had other agent partners that have introduced me to other lead vendors. That's how we come up with a lot of that stuff, and we share that with other agents. If you're ordering leads, we want to know how they're working out for you, whether they're good, bad, ugly, we want to know. If you're on the fence about final expense, what can we do to help you give it a try? It's kind of like riding a bicycle, and it's cliche, I know. The final expense sales, you do have to get on the bike, and you do have to at least pedal a little bit and get started. You're going to fail, but you're also going to have some success. Once you get the wheels moving on that bicycle, the chances of falling and failing get smaller and smaller. But there is a lot of practice. There's a lot of coaching that needs to be involved as you get started. I understand that. That's why I'm here. So if you're on the fence about trying final expense sales, give me a call and let me help you give it a try. My contact information is 800-926-8875, extension 141. My direct dial is 717-216-8041. That goes right into my phone, 717-216-8041. Let me see if we have what questions we have here. Michael, thank you for the question. What if you don't have money for initial leads? What a lot of agents will do is there's a couple of ways to do it. We can invoice you, Michael, for the leads through PayPal. PayPal has a financing option where it's basically you pay no interest. I think it's for 6 months or something like that. That's one option. Another option, some agents are just throwing it on a credit card. You can get 10 leads, 10 good quality leads in your area for $250. Usually out of those 10 leads, you're probably going to get about 2 or 3 sales. The average premium, let's just say on the low end, is $600. You've made money there. And when you're purchasing leads, and this is something that I didn't mention earlier, is when you purchase leads, you do want to set a budget aside where you're ordering leads consistently. You don't want to order leads 1 month and then say, I'm going to wait a little bit. And then it turns into 30 days, 60 days, 120 days, whatever it is, and then you decide you're going to order leads again. That's not how you build momentum. So when you're purchasing leads and when you're working in the final expense marketplace, you want to set aside a budget and stick to it. So if you have a budget of $500 a month, then $500 a month. If it's $250, it's $250. You're going to see that the slow and steady wins the race, and you're going to see that you're going to build that momentum. And remember, when you're on these appointments, it is important that you ask for referrals, so that you can. But those are free leads. Ask for referrals. Now, with that being said, we do subsidize those lead costs. So you're going to be spending some money, but within 30 days or so, we're going to be giving you some of that money back to order some more leads. So we can certainly help you out with that. I hope that answers your question, Michael. If you have a follow-up question, feel free to type that question. I'll be happy to answer that for you. Trina, do the teleleads ask minimum income if they have a checking or savings account? Some will do that, some will not. What they typically do when they're ordering, when you're ordering leads for telemarketed leads, and I'll talk about the verified teleleads, so the ones for $25 a piece. What they when I'm saying verified teleleads, what they do is they go through a whole verification process. So they verify, first of all, if the person is interested in speaking to you about life insurance. They also will verify the amount of coverage or the different amounts of coverage that they might be interested in getting and who their beneficiary is going to be. When they're calling these people, they're calling people that are in a lower income area. So they're already going after households of less than $60,000 or somewhere in that range. And they're targeting people ages 55 and older. That's typically what they're doing. So they're not verifying checking or savings account. There are some different workarounds there. You can certainly request that they do that. Sometimes they'll accommodate that for you and make some adjustments when they're making phone calls. I hope that answers your question. And Michael, thank you for the question. What is a Gemini partner? Great question. So a Gemini partner is a partner that consolidates all of their lines of business with URL. What I mean by that is if it's a carrier that URL does not have, then obviously you can't transfer that contract to URL. But if it's a contract that we have and you're doing business with them, we're asking that you consolidate all of your business under one roof, that roof being URL. So then what we do is by you rewarding us with all of your contracts, we're going to give back to you. Free E&O is a big one. We have different sales seminars that are exclusive to Gemini partners only. We have Gemini bonuses. I mentioned about our final expense lead subsidies where you get $80 instead of $50 for every $1,000 of annualized premium that you place. The other departments also do quarterly bonuses based on production, life insurance production, or traditional life, whether it's term insurance or universal life or index UL. We give back in quarterly bonuses there. We have Gemini-only trips. So there's a bunch of different things that we do. So if you consolidate all of your business to URL, we're going to give back. And that's what a Gemini partner is. And Victor, do you provide any kind of training? All the time. If you need one-on-one training, we can certainly set up an individualized webinar. If you're in the area, feel free to stop in the office. We can go over products and sales guides and all that good stuff. So yes, we do provide any kind. We provide individualized training as well as group training, like you're experiencing right now. Larry asks, do you start new people off on the same compensation? Each carrier has their own compensation schedule. So if you've been with URL for a while, or if you're brand new to URL, you're basically all on the same page. There are times where production warrants that we go to the carrier and say, you know what, Larry needs a raise, and we can certainly work on your behalf for that. But business is what drives that compensation reward. Richard, do you have IUL carriers? Yes. So URL Insurance Group, for those of you who are new to URL or just, you know, we're brand new to your purview, I guess you could say, we're a full service brokerage. The only things we don't do here are P&C and securities. So we do have a lot of IUL carriers. Some of our top carriers there would be companies like North American, Protective. There's a bunch of them. But we can certainly have that conversation. So yes, we do have IUL carriers. Trina, our commission schedule is published on the website for final expense carriers. No, we don't publish that. And the reason we don't, just so you're aware of, or just so you have a reason why, we work with a lot of agencies that have agent downlines. So agencies will sometimes we'll work out a contract with the agency, but they don't want agents, their downline, to see what they're making, and vice versa. So we don't publish commission schedules online. That's been a company rule for years and years. Victor asks, do you have any agents in Okeechobee, Florida? No, I don't. I have some agents in the Daytona area. I have some agents in the Orlando area, but nobody in Okeechobee. So that area is available for you if you're interested. A lot of good questions today. I appreciate that. And again, a lot of times after we conclude our webinar, that's when a lot of people will have questions. So take my number down. My number is 800-926-8875, extension 141, or you can reach me direct at 717-216-8041. My email address is matt.a@urlinsgroup.com. Some great questions. I appreciate it. I appreciate everyone's time today. I don't see any other questions coming in, so I'm going to just wrap things up here and say, again, thank you for joining me. If you're on the fence about final expense sales, now's the time to give it a try. It's the summer months. Seniors are not looking into Medicare season at this point. They're not getting inundated with having to make those Medicare choices. So now is really a good time to get involved in final expense if you're not already doing it. If you're already doing it, now's the time to get some leads ordered and start hitting the pavement, not figuratively, not literally, and making some phone calls, setting some appointments, and reaching those sales goals. And I'm here to help you every step of the way. So until next time, have a great month. We'll be talking to you all very soon, and have a great day, and enjoy this nice weather, nice summer weather. It's summertime. Great time to enjoy if you like the summer months. So take care, everybody. Thanks again, and we'll talk to you soon.